Hi everyone, it's dark in here and I'm using the light from my TV. It's on a screensaver, so every couple of minutes or minute or so, it's gonna sort of change hue. That's not gonna matter very much though, because this video is mostly going to be a screen recording of my computer here. I am currently looking at my October/autumn watch list on Letterboxd, which is currently on private, but when I put this video up, I'll put it on public. And I just thought I would go through the movies that I'm thinking about watching or that I've already watched this month and that I will be continuing to watch into November. I'll try to focus most of the scary horror stuff for October, but I still like continuing with atmospheric and supernatural and still kind of scary stuff sometimes into November. And I know I'm not going to get to all of these. I don't have time for that, especially if I want to get reading done as well. So, but anyway, this is what I'm thinking of watching. This is what I've been watching a bit already. Yeah, I thought it would be interesting to go through, especially if you wanted to get some recommendations or just now these movies are kind of on your radar or that they're available somewhere. So I'm actually going to hit my screen record now. 3, 2, 1. It's recording. Great. Okay, let's minimize that. So, yes, now you can see my watch list here is 69 movies, of which I've already seen half of. So this is a mix of things that I've seen before and things that I haven't seen. Granted, a number of them I've been watching, so earlier this month they were unwatched and now they have been watched, So I'll give you just a brief overview right now. I'm gonna try not to talk about every single one of them. I do that a lot where I'm I don't want this to be very long, but apparently I just can't make a short video. And then also in my notes, obviously it's not going to be super helpful to you if I own the movie, because then I'm just going to have it as own. But this one, for example here, The Hunger, 1983, this is the first film on the list. I'm not going to keep it on this page. I just thought I would show you my notes really quickly. Obviously, if I've seen the movie before and I've rated it, then there's a rating. And then I just have however I'm going to watch it in the notes, and then a check mark if I have watched it for this time period, you know what I mean? So I do own The Hunger, but it's on DVD and it is available on HBO Max, so I might as well watch it on HBO Max because that'll be a higher quality. So I'll just go through this really quickly. Why is the scroll being weird? Okay, we're just gonna click it here. So as you can see, I do already have a good number of these. At least a lot of the ones at the top. And then there are a good handful in the middle that are just available on Tubi that I just added here because I saw that they were available on Tubi. And so, yeah, I think... Alright. And yeah, then there are also some that I found available on YouTube. From people who have actually uploaded the movies, as opposed to them being on YouTube through YouTube and Google, you know what I mean? So there is a chance that those videos could end up being blocked or removed at some point, but hopefully not, or at least hopefully not before you get to them. Yes, and then here, this one is actually available on this website called Cinematique, and it's a French website, and it has a lot of old movies on it. Obviously, this one is from 1928, and so I haven't really explored that website very much, but already it seems really cool to be able to watch these movies that are probably sort of within the public domain, but maybe don't have physical releases or international releases at least. And then I'm almost at the end here. And there we go. Okay. Now I'm actually gonna properly go through it. So The Hunger, from 1983. I have already seen this, but I just want to watch it again. And it has Catherine Deneuve and David Bowie, who play vampires, which is really cool. And then they sort of seduce Susan Sarandon, mainly Catherine Deneuve. And I think there's like sort of a virus involved as well, or like, I kind of forget, which is one of the reasons. Some of these I want to rewatch because it's been a while and I don't remember the exact details. So then we have Night of the Demons from 1988. I loved this movie when I first saw it, but I'm hoping that it wasn't the situation where my brother and I were watching a bunch of movies that he had gotten from Scream Factory, and so he has this release. That's why some of them say Blu-ray and some of them say own, because if I own it, I wrote own, but if my brother has it, I wrote Blu-ray because that means, or DVD, if he has it on DVD, because I didn't want to put like my brother's name in the list. So anyway, he got a bunch of releases from Scream Factory around this time, and Night of the Demons was like by far my favorite. I'm hoping it's not just one of those situations where the other movies I didn't enjoy very much, and this one just happened to be the highlight. I'm hoping that it is actually very good and I enjoy it. Also, I meant to watch it last year and I didn't get to it, so. Repulsion from 1965. I rewatch this, I think, like every October, or at least every year, I feel like. So it's on my list to watch again this year, and it's also been, I've nominated it for one of the movies that we may watch. My movie marathon group that I have, we each like nominate 3 movies, and then we vote on the movies, and then each person has a movie that is chosen. So I nominated Repulsion, The Innocents, and Byzantium, so one of those movies will be in our marathon, but we haven't voted yet. So maybe I'll be watching Repulsion on my own, maybe I'll be watching Repulsion with some friends. Vampire from 1932. I feel like I've also rewatched this in the last at least couple of years, and every time it feels like a different experience because I constantly forget things that happen in it. I'm always so focused on it having to do with Carmilla by J. Sheridan Le Fanu, and then I forget that there's also other Fanu stories that are integrated into the movie. Which is also great, by the way, just in terms of enjoying a movie more and more upon every rewatch. I love when that happens. Interview with a Vampire from 1994. I love this movie. Look, I have it rated as a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's just so good. I love Interview, the book. I love the movie. And I have to rewatch it. And I bought that recently along with Queen of the Damned from 2002. I'm hoping to watch them with my brother, who has not seen either of them. I haven't seen Queen of the Damned as well, but I'm gonna go into that with like kind of low expectations, but I have a feeling I'm gonna like it, even though I've heard not great things. I still think I'm gonna like it because it's the Vampire Chronicles. And I know going into it that they are going to smush 2 books into one, like, less than 2-hour film. Why did they do that? I really don't understand. And also, the movies that I got did have, like, some good behind-the-scenes supplements, it seemed like. I don't know how long they are, but I'm hoping that gives me some more information and just, like, look into the making of the films. So I do know that supposedly though that Brad Pitt had like a terrible time on set of Interview with the Vampire, which I just think is so fitting for Louis, because obviously Louis is like this just miserable character, and it's kind of perfect that Brad Pitt ended up being miserable on set, I guess, because I'm assuming part of it comes out in his performance as Louis, as opposed to, like, him just, like, fully acting, you know what I mean? I freaking love Interview with the Vampire. Okay. And then another adaptation, lots of adaptations here, lots of Edgar Allan Poe, lots of Dracula, lots of vampires. Okay. The Company of Wolves from 1984. I recently bought a steelbook of this, and I also bought The Bloody Chamber and Other Stories by Angela Carter, which this is an adaptation of a few of those stories, I'm pretty sure. I know The Bloody Chamber and The Company of Wolves, those specific stories. I don't know how many more. And I'm not sure like which elements and stuff. I haven't read those stories yet, so I don't really want to look into what the movie exactly is. Also, it's like directed by the same director as Interview with the Vampire, so which is Neil Jordan. So that gives me like high expectations, at least in terms of just aesthetic and the supernatural story, I guess. But I'm really looking forward to watching that, as well as diving into Angela Carter's work, because I haven't read anything from her yet. And then The Legend of Hellhouse from 1973. I recently listened to the audiobook of Hellhouse by Richard Matheson, which I messed up on my previous video. Well, at least my previously recorded video. I don't know what order things are going up in, but I accidentally called him Richard Mason because I forgot his last name. But it's Richard Matheson, who's also the author of I Am Legend, interestingly enough. Is that right? I Am Legend, I'm pretty sure. Now I'm like second guessing myself. Because isn't I Am Legend like the Omega Man? Now I'm confusing myself. It's fine. Those have nothing to do with this anyway. Hellhouse, The Legend of Hellhouse. I have seen this before. I recently bought the movie, though, when I bought Interview with the Vampire and Queen of the Damned. I'm looking forward to rewatching this, though. And I also forgot to mention that my computer is making a lot of noise because I'm screen recording, so hopefully it's not too loud. Yeah, especially having now read the book, I wonder how, like, toned down it will be. Oh, also I've been meaning to look up when Hell House was even published in the first place, because it's so vulgar. There's so much sexual things, and I was just like, I remember this being an element in the movie, but not to this extent, which is partially what I'm, like, interested in seeing, like, how it's done. And then House of Usher from 1960. This is the Roger Corman, Vincent Price Poe adaptation. This is my second favorite of those adaptations. The Mask of the Red Death being my favorite, but I feel like it doesn't have as high of a rewatch value, so I'm not going to watch it this year. But I recently reread The Fall of the House of Usher, and this is not the first time that you are going to be seeing this title on this list. Then we have The House of the Devil from 2009. I just wanted to rewatch it, so I have it here. Dracula from 1958. I thought I hadn't seen this before, but I have, and I don't remember. So definitely want to revisit this. And it's a Hammer film, which also The Vampire Lovers is from 1970. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to this one, unfortunately, but I'm really excited to rewatch it. I'm hoping to get the Scream Factory release that is coming out in December. I'm not sure exactly when I'll be getting it. I don't mind if I don't get, like, the poster or whatever, as long as I get, like, the collector's edition. They do have a regular edition, just a regular DVD of The Vampire Lovers, but this December they're releasing a collector's edition of it. They haven't listed the supplements yet. I'm gonna assume that it's going to be much more stacked than the regular one, since it is a collector's edition. And this is not currently available on anything, which is why I said I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it, at least in October and November. And probably not December if it comes out. I think it comes out like the 21st, so that's like almost the end of the year. And I watched this last year. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I really liked it, but I feel like my love for it has kind of like grown over time, and just kind of remembering it, and now I just really want to rewatch it. Okay? And at the time that I watched it too, I think my review was like, can I see my review? I think I was just like between a 3.5 and a 4, but I round up for the production design and Ingrid Pitt. Yep. That's exactly it. Okay. And then next is, again, also, I don't think I said this, but this is in no particular order. This is just the order that I made the list in, as I was remembering things, as I was adding them. Yeah. So then next is The Tomb of Lydia from 1964. I just watched this last night, and it was very good. It's another Corman Price Poe adaptation. I can't really get into it because, again, I don't want to make this video incredibly long, but it is really interesting to see Poe adaptations because so many of his short stories are between like 10 and maybe 30 pages at the most, I feel like. at the same time that it seems like there's a lot that you can work with, it also is a little limiting, because if you don't have that imagination or that, yeah, I can't get into it, but like sometimes you're gonna have to add like a lot of context or a lot of character development or just characteristics of the characters in the first place. At least for the Roger Corman, Vincent Price adaptations, a lot of them just really evoke a sense of Poe's writing to an extent. I don't think they're extremely dark, because to me they are very much like period pieces in a way. Yeah, okay, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, next I have Spirits of the Dead from 1968, which I watched a few nights ago and didn't really like very much. I gave it a 2.5 stars, and I have a short review for it, so if you want to read that, it's on Letterboxd. This also includes, it's 3 stories, all adaptations of a Edgar Allan Poe story. Dracula's Daughter from 1936. Really looking forward to this one, especially because of its place in history as a very like queer-coded film, and just also different iterations of Dracula or descendants of Dracula in a way. I love vampires, I guess. I mean, yeah, I love vampires, but okay. Speaking of vampires, yeah, lots of vampires. I already said that. Vampires from 1974. I think this is on Tubi. We're starting to get to the point where like a bunch of these are just titles that I noticed on Tubi, and I was like, I'm gonna add that to my watch list. So here's Vampires from 1974. I'm pretty sure this is also like queer in some way. I think less queer coded and more like explicit. Could be wrong. The House on Sorority Row from 1982. I have seen this before, but I don't really remember it very well, so when I noticed it on Tubi, I added it to this list. Fright Night, another vampire movie from 1985. I love this movie, but I've only seen it once. I'm really hoping a rewatch doesn't disappoint. I can't remember where this is available right now, but hopefully I can get to it. The Mummy from 1959. This is another Hammer film that I haven't seen this time. Silent Night, Bloody Night from 1972. I'll just go through like the next handful. I'm kind of gonna skip some and then come back to them. But Silent Night, Bloody Night, Blood of Dracula, The House That Dripped Blood, The Ghost of Sierra de Cobra, The Changeling, Gothic, The House of the Dead, Death Walks at Midnight, Castle of Blood, and I think also the Vampire from 1957. I think those are just a bunch that I added because I saw them on Tubi, which, if you don't know what Tubi is, Tubi, it's a streaming service, site more so, because it's free, but you do have to watch ads, which I don't really mind, because as long as I can watch these movies, like, great. The ads do get kind of annoying, but again, if the movies aren't available anywhere else, then at least I have them available to watch. So going back, what did I skip? I don't know about a lot of those, so I'm not going to go any further into detail with them, except for The Changeling, which I had already seen before, and I actually recently rewatched. It's from 1980, and it was an interesting rewatch because I realized it's not that much of like a horror movie or like a scary movie, but it's very atmospheric. And it was a little disappointing because I remember being really intrigued by like the mystery behind the house that the main character moves into. And I love when characters, whether it's like a book or a movie or a TV show, I love when characters are like doing research and looking into the history of something. And that fell a little flat for me here, which was kind of disappointing. But at the same time, it was a good film. It's also very sad though, so if you're going to watch The Changeling, I feel like that's a good thing to know going into it, if you don't already. Night of the Creeps is one. This is from 1986. I don't think I'm going to be able to watch this because it's not available anywhere, but it is going to... I didn't look at the release date, but I'm pretty sure Scream Factory is coming out with a release for this as well. A collector's edition. Yes. Gothic... This is available on Tubi. I mentioned it among all the other ones, but I do actually know what this one is about, and it has to do with Mary Shelley writing Frankenstein, and that like the night or that weekend or whatever that she was with the other literary figures, and they were having that contest, and that's when she wrote Frankenstein, and she like had that nightmare and stuff, and there's a storm and all of that. If you know about the inspirations behind Frankenstein, this is a period piece basically of that event. So yeah, Gothic from 1986, which I'm so glad it's available on Tubi, because I did really want to see it, but then it wasn't available anywhere, and then it suddenly was. Okay, and then Blood for Dracula from 1974 and Flesh for Frankenstein from 1973. I found these on YouTube, and so they are linked in this list in the notes. It's very interesting because I thought that I would like Blood for Dracula more, but I ended up liking Flesh for Frankenstein more. And this is the second time something like that has sort of happened to me, where the other time was when I watched Penny Dreadful, the show that was on Showtime. I thought that Dorian Gray would be my favorite character because of the literary works that are interwoven into the plotline, and characters are taken from those works and put into the show. Picture of Dorian Gray is one of my favorite books, and so I thought that, especially because that's my favorite among the stories that are interwoven into Penny Dreadful, I thought that Dorian Gray would be my... I'm trying to speak really quickly. I thought that Dorian Gray would be my favorite character, but then Victor Frankenstein ended up being my favorite character, so that's interesting. I'm gonna have to reread Frankenstein, because imagine if it could like actually be one of my favorite books. But I mean, Dracula and The Picture of Dorian Gray are already favorite books of mine, so it would just earn its rightful place among those other Gothic novels. Okay, and then The Immortal One from 1963. I don't even remember how I came across this, but I came across it, and it is available on YouTube, but now I found it somewhere else as well, but I can't remember where. But it's in the notes. I just thought that this layout here would be easier to go through the list, so that's why it's like this. And then this is another one that I found on YouTube, Bugs Bunny's Halloween special from 1977. If I get creeped out by any of these movies, this will be a nice like palate cleanser before I go to bed, because of course I'm going to set the mood and watch all of these at night in the dark, such as I am right now. But I am the type of person who will just like think about things and creep myself out. So this could be good. I do think I've already seen it before. There's like a handful of like different shorts, I guess, that are combined into this one special. So yeah, I love things like this though too. Oh my god, my brother and I, we love like Mickey Mouse's like House of Villains. That's like the Halloween one, and then like Once Upon a Christmas or Twice Upon a Christmas during Christmas time. Those are so good. Okay. I should rewatch that, the House of Villains. All right. Another one on YouTube, The Telltale Heart from 1953. This is just a short. It's animated. The animation is great too. I love 2D. I don't like 3D, like the computer animated stuff as much. Or I mean, I guess 2D can also be on computers now, but still, I like the traditional sort of 2D animation. Anyway, I really like the animation in this. It's a short. It's narrated by James Mason and is like really effective for how short it is, and just for being this just like image after image, I guess, because there's not a lot of motion. It's like it seems as if like the camera is panning over an illustration, if you get what I'm saying. Oh gosh. And then we have 5 movies from Curtis. I have to look at his name again. Curtis Harrington. All of these, except for Night Tide, are on the Criterion Channel. Night Tide is on Amazon Prime, but here, that's also the only feature film here. All these other ones are shorts. So we have The Assignation from 1953, The Fall of the House of Usher from 1942, Usher from 2000, which is crazy that the same director made both of these films, and it's essentially the same story. This is much shorter. This is like 36 minutes, I think. And he made this first one when he was 14 in 1942. I just think that's amazing. It's not that great, but it doesn't matter. I still think it's amazing. And then, yes, Night Tide from 1961. This is a feature film. And then also The Wormwood Star from 1956, which I would like to learn more about this person. Marjorie Cameron, who apparently is an occultist. And it's barely a documentary, by the way. Like, it's just her, like, in this room. And then a bunch of images that I don't even know what they were. But I want to know more about her. Yes, so then continuing with some things that are on the Criterion channel, I have Le Vampire from 1945. This is also like an 8-minute short or something like that. Just, I thought I would put some short things in here as well. Especially if I like wanted to continue watching things, but I like had to go to bed soon, or I didn't really want to fully get into something yet. I don't know. And then Le Corbeau from 1943, which is The Raven. I'm really looking forward to that one. I think I'm gonna like that one a lot. And then A Cure for Wellness from 2016, which I just kind of wanted to remember. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to it because it's not available anywhere, but I may have to buy the Blu-ray on eBay or something. Which also, I want to know, like, what are some other sites besides, like, eBay or, like, Amazon Marketplace or something that I could buy, like, used movies from? Because I want to know if I'm, like, not aware of some big site that a bunch of other people use. Yeah, I mostly just use eBay, so... I've heard mixed things about this, but I thought it looked really good, at least visually, which I'm okay with if it has a little bit more style over substance. And then there's Mother, which I've heard very mixed things about, from 2017. I also don't know if I'm going to be able to watch this. I think it's only available on Paramount Plus, and I don't know if I have that. I'll have to ask my brother. Because, like, he has some things. My dad mostly has, like, everything else, and then I have the Criterion channel. Thelma from 2017. I've been meaning to watch this. It's on Hulu. Thankfully, it's still on Hulu, unlike The Duke of Burgundy here from 2014. I'm a dumbass and haven't watched it yet, and it was available on Hulu for like years, and then I didn't watch it, and now it's not available anymore. So I don't know where to watch it. But I have it here because I want to remember to get to it, and this may also be a movie that I end up purchasing. Used most likely, because I don't think it's like available anywhere. Blood Tea and Red String from 2006. This is a movie that I saw like stills from, and then I noticed that it was available on Tubi, so then I added it to my Tubi list, and obviously this list as well. Like, I say Tubi list as in like my watch list on Tubi, like my list on Tubi. Extraordinary Tales from 2013. This is another Edgar Allan Poe adaptation. It's 5 stories, all shorts. And I mean, I feel like this is probably going to be one of the more accurate adaptations in a way, because there are 5 stories in this one movie, and the movie's only like 73 minutes. So it's really going to be just like the story that Poe wrote. And then Dracula from 1992. I'm so excited to rewatch this. I'm going to purchase this soon. Probably the 4K, because it also comes with a Blu-ray. I don't have a 4K player in here. The only 4K player I think we have is, like, the newest PlayStation. And I really want to know, like, behind-the-scenes stuff for this, because I love the production design, and I want to know about the making of this movie, basically. Yes, and I love Winona Ryder, and I love this movie. And I love Dracula. And I love Winona Ryder. I feel like I haven't really talked about her a lot on my channel, but my family and, like, other people that know me in real life, and I guess if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know that I love Winona Ryder. Like, she's a fave of mine, but I feel like I never talk about her. Same with, like, River Phoenix. I love them. Okay. And then another Dracula adaptation, probably not the first one, but, oh yeah, of course, duh, Nosferatu is the first one. I actually prefer Nosferatu over this Dracula adaptation, but, or movie in general, but I'm interested in rewatching this one. So obviously this is the one that's in the Universal Monsters collection, which I have, and it's from 1931. And then, exciting, we have the Rocky Horror Picture Show from 1975 and Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street from 2007. I love these movies so much. And there's just something about them. I don't know. It's probably, I know that the music is an element of this, is a factor for this. But both of these movies, I've had periods of when I watched it, and then for the next, 2 weeks, I just kept watching it. Maybe every other day or something like that. It's definitely just me wanting to listen to the music. I definitely know that that's an element, but still, how have I seen them so many times? And I'm a little afraid to watch them again, only just because I don't want to have them on loop in the same way. How am I going to get to all these other movies, and how am I going to read the books that I want to read if I'm only watching Sweeney Todd for 14 days straight? I feel like people all know what these are. I know that Sweeney Todd is not as loved, I feel like, but I really like it. And also, I do think that I'm just kind of biased because I think Sweeney Todd, though there are plenty of musicals that I'm not familiar with, the ones that I am familiar with, I think Sweeney Todd is the best written musical. Musically, the music. Sondheim, round of applause, that just will continue into eternity. It's so good, and if you want to hear more about it, I will mention yet again Sideways' video on the music for Sweeney Todd spoils itself and why that's a good thing, or something like that. I'll link it in the description, but I've mentioned it at least a few times. Okay, moving on. The Wolf House from 2018. The animation for this looks really interesting. It's on the Criterion channel. And then The Lighthouse from 2019 and A Ghost Story from 2017. These are both A24 movies that I wanted to watch because I have a video pertaining to A24 horror. Even though A Ghost Story is not really horror, I do have it on this list to watch because I just want to watch it. I just have it here, okay? But I have The Lighthouse, and I might as well go down, and The Lodge on here. From 2019, which is not an A24 film, but I have a video kind of having to do with A24 that I am working on. So, okay, yes. So I recently watched The Lighthouse. I have not watched The Ghost Story yet. It's on my list to watch it. And then, obviously, I've just mentioned that I have now watched The Lodge. And then another House of Usher adaptation, because I needed another one apparently. But this, I think, is the first one from 1928. It's French, and this is the one that I said was available on that website. I'm so looking forward to it, especially because really just the Roger Corman, Vincent Price adaptation is the one that I'm so familiar with. I'm pretty sure I watched it in middle school when we were studying Poe's work, and then I've seen it countless times, just since I have the back there actually, not you can really see that, but and this is going to be in the corner of the screen, so you're definitely not going to be able to see it. But I've watched it a handful of times since getting the Vincent Price collections. Yeah, really looking forward to this one, especially because it's French. I don't know, I'm so intrigued, and I'm glad that I think someone mentioned it in a YouTube video that I watched randomly, so I'm so glad that I watched that video and found out about that website and this adaptation. And then we have The Man Who Laughs from 1928. I have already seen this before, but I was just thinking about it again, and Conrad Veidt is so good, so I need to see this again. The Love Witch from 2016. Thankfully, it is now available on Plex or something. I've never used that before, but this wasn't available until recently. So now it's on some sort of streaming service, and I can watch it. Yay. I love this movie. The production design is immaculate, okay? I think it's fantastic. I think that this was hit or miss for a lot of people. I think it's great. Okay. The 10th Victim from 1965. There was a specific reason I added this to this list, but I don't remember right now. Maybe when I watch it, I will remember. Midnight Mass from this year. This is a mini-series on Netflix that recently came out, and I'm afraid of being spoiled for it, even though, I am interested in watching it. but I need to get to it if I'm worried about, like, being spoiled. It's from Mike Flanagan, who also did The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor, also on Netflix, which are shows that I like and I like to discuss, but I really don't love them that much. It's very interesting. I don't know. I can't get into it. We're almost done. Okay. And then I have the Amityville Horror from 1979. I have already seen this, but I'm going to read the book, which I've never read before, rewatch the movie, and then also do some research on the actual, like, family that this is all, like, based on, because I think that there are things that the author did. He, like, took some liberties. I don't know the specifics of it. That's why I'm going to do research afterwards. But I remember that this was quite a scary movie. The Lost Boys from 1987. I haven't seen this, I feel like, since high school, and I was just thinking about it again, and I loved this movie. Oh my god, like, the first time I saw this, I don't remember how we watched it, but I watched it with my brothers, and then the very next day, my best friend came over, and I proceeded to just explain the entire movie to her. Like, for 2 hours, I gave her every single detail. Meanwhile, we probably could have just watched the movie, so that's why I'm like, I don't know how we watched it, because maybe, like, we rented it and then we already returned it by the time my friend came over. But I gave her all the details. I'm telling you, every single... She had a visual that was the film in her mind. And I told her every single thing about it. I was the movie for her. It was as if she was blind and I was telling her what was happening. Then, let's see, The Uninvited from 2009. Okay, The Uninvited from 2009... The House on Haunted Hill from 1999, and What Lies Beneath from 2000. These are all just movies that I want to rewatch because I don't really remember very well. I want to get those details again. But also The Uninvited specifically is an American remake of the South Korean film A Tale of Two Sisters, which I watched earlier this year. And I didn't realize that until I was, like, watching something afterwards or, like, reading something that mentioned that A Tale of Two Sisters was remade in America as The Uninvited. And I was like, I've seen that, though. Oh my god, like, I see the connections, but again, I don't really remember the details as much. Especially... Well, I won't get into it because it might be kind of spoilery. So, yeah, want to rewatch this. Count Dracula from 1970. This is actually a BBC miniseries. I watched a video recently that had to do with somebody kind of trying to find the most accurate adaptation of Dracula. He had, like, very specific criteria for that video and his aim there. So I'll just, like, link that in the description if I can find it. I'll have to go back through my YouTube history. But this ended up being the winner, and it's available on Amazon Prime, so I was like, I don't want to forget about it. Kiss of the Damned from 2012. I just want to see this movie, and I actually was initially going to add it to the list, but then it wasn't available anywhere, so I was like, no, I'm not going to add it. But recently it went back up on Tubi, so now I can watch it. And then this is also on Tubi, also I think on Amazon Prime, The Lair of the White Worm from 1988. It just looks really interesting. And then, yeah, What Lies Beneath. I think there's a twist that I just, even though no one's talking about this, I don't want to be spoiled. Even though I have seen it before, I feel like I haven't seen the full thing. So I would like to finally, like, give this a full watch. And The Lodge, I've already mentioned. I already watched it. So, yeah. That's my October/autumn watch list. I will put it on public when I put this video up. And, okay, this isn't too long. I mean, I actually did go through almost every movie. Almost 70 movies. That's pretty good. Okay, so thank you for watching. I would love to know what you're watching in October, in autumn. What are you planning on watching on Halloween? That's the thing I want to know. I have a feeling a lot of people are just going to be like, I'm watching Halloween on Halloween. Yeah, so I also would like to know if there are any of your favorite movies that are on this list. Any that you haven't seen that you've been meaning to get to. Stuff like that. So, again, thank you for watching, and I will see you... I think my lipstick's messed up. It's fine. I'm ending. So, thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. I'm sorry, I keep tapping the freaking desk. I hope that wasn't annoying. I'll see you in my next video. Okay, bye. Oh my god, I don't know how to end this. Okay. Anyway, I'll see you in my next video. Bye. I'm good. Just end the video.